What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through just the one game tonight, a game two in Madison Square Garden with New York leading the series with the Pacers 1-0. Unfortunately, there are plenty of injuries to talk through in this series already. With me, as always, Mike Gallagher. Mike, how are you enjoying the one game slate?
Yeah, pretty good. Nice little 5 mile hike today. Birdie's at the groomers right now, so really quiet in the house today. I do not like it. I miss my dog, but doing great. Kind of. So Sam and I were hiking today, and we're just talking about how hot Jalen Brunson is. I think the best way to sum it up is Jalen Brunson's points line is 37 and a half. Luka's points line's 30 and a half. So
Yeah.
to out points line Luka by 7 really just kind of shows how good Lou Dort is. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, feeling pretty good. We've got my OKC stuff. Boston look good. Series bets looking good. So feeling good. Just missed my dog, but I'll be okay. No flat tires today, so it's a good day.
Good to hear. Yeah, did the Mavs make the mistake of keeping the wrong star player is the next level of discourse that we can have, right? Should they have kept Jalen Brunson instead of Luka Doncic? No, let's get into the game-by-game stuff. When there's just one game, it's Indiana, New York. And from an injury perspective, we've got another questionable tag on Tyrese Halliburton with those low back spasms. We've known for a while here, he just does not really look. He was dominant in the first half of the season. Ever since the hamstring injury, has not kind of looked the same. Spasms are like an unusual injury, so I don't want to draw too many conclusions that like hamstring tied his back, but that is definitely part of the kinetic change just naturally. What are your thoughts on Tyree? He's obviously going to play tonight through the questionable tag, but in terms of effectiveness, in terms of minute ceiling, how do you see these back spasms impacting him?
So we saw even he's doing the in-game interviews. He's got that big back wrap that we keep talking about on him while he's doing the interview. It's constantly on him, clearly not 100%. But he says he was asked why his game one was so poor, and he said, "quote I got to look at it more as a Tyrese issue more than a Knicks issue. So I'll be better in game two." And we saw kind of interestingly and coincidentally, 11.4 usage rate 11 down to the 10th, 11.4 usage rate in both of game ones. That's on the NBA.com usage. Those two usage rates are his lowest usage rates in any game this year and last year. So game one, major bugaboo. He's not driving. He only drove 8 times. Definitely some concerns. Obviously, there's the whole since the hamstring thing, but really since the back injury, his usage is down. His efficiency's down. His true shooting's dropped in each of the last 4 games. So clearly not right. Credit to Dante DiVincenzo, but it's definitely not like the Knicks took Halliburton out of it. It was definitely Halliburton wasn't really comfortable. Was that because of just trying to get his teammates going? Was it injury? Kind of unclear. The beats aren't even asking about it anymore. So we're going to go into it. Maybe he plays a little bit better, but I expect him to shoot for sure more than 11.4 usage rate. But definitely some concerns here. We haven't seen the super duper minute ceiling, but we're seeing a little bit more as he kind of is routinely getting closer to the upper 30s.
Yep. And we'll save the rotation notes and changes for the premium show behind the paywall today with Mike Gallagher and Sam Jaffarina at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Just covering the injury stuff here on the New York side. 3 players listed out: Bojan Bogdanovic, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. A tight Knicks rotation, potentially getting tighter here. We'll see how they handle the absence of Mitchell Robinson, but this is, it's a big one in the sense that anytime you lose a rotation player in the playoffs, it's big. When you don't have a lot of depth to start with, it's big. This series, not as great of a series for Mitchell Robinson than some of the other series in terms of like where they absolutely need him, because Milwaukee just doesn't have that big size and post presence. So I think they can get away with this a little bit, but man, we're going to continue to see these really heavy workloads, most likely on the starters, with a lack of depth pieces behind. We know there's Alec Burks and Jericho Sims. Those are the guys they could potentially turn to in terms of new players added into the rotation. And we'll see about Precious Achiuwa in terms of how much they extend him and how much of Mitchell Robinson's role he fills. But what are your expectations here, and how the Knicks kind of adjust to life without Mitch?
Yeah, to your point, the Mitch Robinson and then Embiid grabbing his leg was that part. We saw him limp worse after that. That's a whole big ordeal. I'm not going to get into it, but as you mentioned, Embiid was Richard Mitch's impact in the Philly series against Embiid was huge. You could argue they would have lost game 1 without him. Pretty easy argument to make. So, but as you mentioned, not as important. They could kind of implement a more switch heavier scheme with Precious, which is what a lot of teams like to do sometimes. But yeah, we'll talk more about some more details. But as you mentioned, we're pretty confident that Precious Achiuwa is going to be the backup 5. We saw him play great. Game 4 or 5 when Isaiah Hartenstein picked up 5 fouls in just the third. Precious got hot, and they kind of closed with that lineup there with Precious picking up some minutes. So yeah, there's that. Do they add Alec Burks? I kind of don't think so. We saw Deuce McBride get cut down. Dante DiVincenzo 2 games in a row now goes 48-44 after being 28, 28, 26 in 3 games prior. 2 great defensive games, guarded Tyrese Maxey, really one of the best jobs he's done all year. And then I mentioned Halliburton, DiVincenzo was the primary there. So the next question is regarding the centers, how much does Isaiah Hartenstein play? Saw him play 36 minutes. He hasn't played 36 plus since February, I think 2nd. So very unusual for him to get up that much. Is that going to be something they could do again? We know Tibbs probably wants to play him that high, but if Precious is hot, I mentioned the time he got cut down, there's a chance Hartenstein gets up there with the 48 boys, right? 44 Dante, 48 Hart again, which I don't think we don't have to talk about it anymore. Brunson 44, Anunoby 42. So does he put him in that tier on the table? Given the fact of a foul risk and all that, I don't think we can really go that far with the minutes. We had a little bit of a debate there. So yeah, we know the starting 5. We're pretty confident Precious is in there. Pretty confident Deuce McBride will get maybe a couple more minutes here. Do they add in Alec Burks? Do they sneak in Jericho Sims as another body? That is a discussion we'll talk a little bit more later on the Showdown slate.
Yeah, and for the question in chat on why DiVincenzo is playing a lot more now than he did in round 1, this is matchups. This is playoffs. This is the thing. We had talked about on our podcast about how the opening series against Philadelphia was a particularly great series for Deuce McBride in terms of you need defense and quick agility defense against Tyrese Maxey. You need corner 3 shooting. Those are Deuce McBride's staples. Dante DiVincenzo did rally well defensively at the end of the series and kind of hold his own. But early in the series, he was struggling with Tyrese Maxey, and that's why his minutes kind of came down. This series, Tyrese Halliburton, totally different point guard than Tyrese Maxey. It's not quick agility. It's more kind of size and pacing and different things like that. That Deuce McBride's size there is a little bit of a disadvantage. Also, corner 3 shooting, Indiana takes that stuff away in bulk. It's more kind of above the break 3 shooting. That's more Dante DiVincenzo. So it goes back to the last 2 months of the season. We saw the Knicks prefer playing Dante DiVincenzo. When they had Dante DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson healthy, Deuce McBride was playing like 10 to 14 minutes a night most of those games. Yep. They just happened to run into a really good series for Deuce McBride. This series isn't quite as good. There's a chance that Deuce McBride could match minutes with a TJ McConnell or something like that. That's a player that he matches up better with, right? So you got to just think through kind of the matchups in the series, and that's why things will change from game to game. That's where we provide the edge on the DFS side of things, talking through these in game ones. But yeah, it's pretty much just DiVincenzo is the guy. It's just last series was just one of the worst matchups for him to see heavy minutes.
Yeah, and we'll save a couple of the Pacers adjustments because I think that the Knicks second unit changes the Pacers and how they're going to handle Brunson. I saw the question from MW. I mean, there's no choice. Like if the Knicks are playing, I'm going to cover boy Jalen Brunson until further notice. Just too good right now. But yeah, it'll be fun to talk through later on the Showdown site. I think there's actually a pretty fun. You have a big injury to the second unit. There's a lot of unknowns here. So this is kind of a Showdown slate. It sucks because the Knicks are on it. Like there's only so many guys that are going to play. But I think there's a little bit of edge to Showdown that I'm excited to talk through later today.
Yep. All right. That will do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, really appreciate your support in supporting this show. One of the big goals that we have of the show is to grow the YouTube channel. And our goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season. We've got a few more weeks left in the NBA season, about a month and a half, 5-6 weeks left. And we're about 60 to 70 subscribers short of our goal. So would love, if you're watching now and you are not subscribed to the channel, would love kind of showing us some love by subscribing to this channel and helping us reach our goal. Will make corporate very happy with myself and Mike Gallagher. So we'd appreciate the strong reviews there. If you're interested in any of our premium content, either on the DFS or on the betting side, you can check out establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA for more details on our premium DFS and prop betting packages. Over there, it'll be Sam Jaffarina and Mike Gallagher on the premium show today at 5 o'clock, talking through showdown strategy for this Knicks and Pacers game and how some of those rotation changes might evolve and adapt. So check out there. And if you're interested in supporting this content and keeping this content free, the best way to do so is to feed that algorithm by smashing that like button. You smash the like button, it feeds the algorithm, which helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis each and every day to help you set your lineups and make your spread bets and your prop bets. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. Num, 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 num. We'll see you tomorrow.